Hello. Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the Edijester. How are you all doing this morning? Brr is the words I got. Brr. It is a little bit, isn't it? Here, I got my coffee and I'm away. I hope you have too. Now, mm, extraordinary, quite extraordinary. The article that I wrote, which drew a kind of weird metaphorical analogy type thing between the puberty blocker trial and the reasons behind it and why it's going ahead, has done incredibly well. I woke up this morning to find out it's got 31,000 views, which thank you so much to all of you that bothered to read, which I imagine was probably about 1% of that. So that's 310 people. But it's got some traction, not just here, but also in the States. So I'm quite pleased to see that, because raising awareness of this puberty blocker trial and why the people involved in it are so insane to think it's okay is really important. But I thought it was worth mentioning today, just to briefly give you some thoughts on what I'm seeing in regards to people criticising, for example, Dr. Hilary Cass. Now, I was very critical of Dr. Hilary Cass when the Cass review came out, in that I said that the clinical trial and the inability, it seemed, of Cass to condemn this utterly for the horror show that the whole thing is was a problem, and that this was only a partial solution. I think that that's been found to be true. I know that Posey Parker, Kelly J, also said the same thing. Alessandra said the same thing. There was a number of people, Escapicat said the same thing. There was a number of people who spoke out and said the same thing. However, I think Hilary Cass, in my sort of mullings, if you will, over the last 24 hours, was in an almost impossible situation. And it's easy for us, particularly, say, for example, me, who lost everything through this with one bang, and then ended up trying to make a living doing what I'm doing right now, and obviously talking to my warrior teachers and helping people work within this sphere, is that it's easy for me to say, go on, what are you doing? Stop doing it. When in fact, I don't think it was that easy for Hilary Cass, who was possibly stuck amongst the wolves. I don't know whether Dr. Cass is caught in the utopian ideological ecosystem completely, or whether Dr. Hilary Cass had to provide a sop to the fetishists and also the mad activists and the complicit within that utopian ideological ecosystem in order to get anything done at all. I don't know whether that was true or not. And I also do not know whether Hilary Cass was stuck between a rock and a hard place or 100% behind this. None of us do. But I think to recriminate her now, the recriminations that can be quite nasty, I don't do it, folks. It's not worth it. I'm just saying, I'm not going to do it. I don't think we should do it. What I think we should do is recognise that when it comes to wickedness, which is what this is, and this is another thing, just something to think about. The word evil, they're just humans. Careful. I don't want to give them some kind of almost fantastical, supernatural sort of sheen in any way. So I don't tend to use the word evil a lot because it's such a powerful word, but I will use the word wickedness. And I think that whenever we've seen human wickedness, especially if it's something where you're trying to stop something that others are so utterly convinced about because they are utopian and relativists morally and culturally, that wickedness is a better word. And also it means that we can understand that wickedness itself is incremental, and that preventing wickedness is also incremental. And when I consider Hanlon's razor, don't put down to wickedness that which you can put down to stupidity. I think that an awful lot of this is stupidity. Not that I'm saying Cass is stupid. I'm not. What I'm saying is that Cass may have been smart and did all she could do at the time when she was surrounded by these people who are totally and abjectly committed to the belief in gender identity ideology, all the stuff that comes with it. So if we can recognize that halting human wickedness is by its very nature an iterative process, it's always been incremental, always. Because what you are actually up against is delusion. The delusion of a few who have power and the delusion of those that support it. This could be said of any conflict, be that a conflict, for example, over ideological beliefs, such as a conflict against communism or Nazism in the 20th century. It has always been incremental. And we need to embrace that and recognize that we go step by step by step, despite the fact that I want to scream at the top of my voice, stop this now. And the way that we do it is by doing what everybody's been doing over the last 24 hours, which has been fantastic to watch, which is speak out, repost, right? Talk to others, make a noise. And we've been doing it. So I now see that it's across the pond that they've come to realize what this is over in America. Australia will be onto this. New Zealand will be onto this. Elon Musk has said this must end, which helps. That's all he needed to say, which helps. We can move this conversation forward. And it is not possible that people like Wes Streeting and Keir Starmer and his cronies and our elites aren't getting the message that people are very, very concerned about this and that there is to it an element of extreme wickedness. 31,000 views on my article. Thank you so much. That's my second most popular article ever, I think. Ever. So we keep doing what we're doing, all right? Despite the fact that it's utterly gut-wrenching to imagine it'll happen and terribly upsetting that it even exists in the first place. We aren't going to defeat the beast just by going after people. We have to keep up the pressure. So I try not to assign blame, even when I analysed the speech of that woman in the video yesterday, who is running the programme. I genuinely think she can't see outside of her utopian ideological ecosystem. She is completely captured within it and subservient to it. That can happen to anyone. That can happen to anyone. And while she is, and while thousands of others are, and millions of others are who still believe that this is actually something to do with civil rights rather than what we know it is, a wicked experiment on children, we just have to keep up the pressure, all right? So you've been fantastic. And so I wanted to say thank you, because it's amazing to watch everybody come together, push, 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 FOIs, letters to MPs, meeting with MPs, phone calls to friends, whatever it takes. So thank you, all of you. I'll see you later. I'm going to keep going. Bye-bye.